I'm Steve Torrence, four-time NHRA Top Fuel World Champion. And when me and these Capco boys win races, we go straight WFO.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro. This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio. We are back from the NHRA Western Swing, the palatial hotel room. I believe it is a Courtyard by Marriott, as we are up here in California, Novato area, getting ready to roll into Sonoma, a little wine country preview. A lot of people have been saying to me, they've been saying, Joe, on the social, where's the results show? Where's the results show? And it's much more challenging to do these shows when you're on the road in the hotels. And here we go. This is it. So a little bit after, we will not have Alan today, but I have caught up with the winners at the track. So we're going to put together a little program for you today. Maybe not quite as long and definitely not live, because as I am, flying the plane, I have a new system computer, by the way, for those of you who want to know all the behind the scenes stuff. I'm trying to make the PC Mac transition. And I've been trying to do it for a while. It's challenging and I don't really know what I'm doing, but I decided to throw myself in on the deal. And here we go. So we will see. So far, so good. The controls are all different, using a mouse as opposed to the deal, but you don't care about any of that. But I'm so good with one of these. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty good that I should eventually get this. But we're going to get into it, right? We got interviews with Tim Wilkerson, with Steve Torrence, and Gaige Herrera. And you're going to hear from them. They were on location, so you'll see and hear what they were thinking right as they won the Flav-R-Pac Northwest Nationals at Pacific Raceways. To me, it was another successful race. Friday was a little light, if we're being honest. The crowd on Friday was a little light. We had that one qualifying session there, but Saturday was packed. That was a great crowd. I remember having the conversation with several people like, ooh, Friday, Saturday, wow, tremendous. And so it just, I think, shows that fans will adapt to whatever the situation is. They came on Saturday. And Sunday was a good crowd as well. But in the end, a successful event regardless. And then this weekend, the Denso Sonoma Nationals, and we've got the big Pro Stock Motorcycle call-out, which is going to be going on as well. So a lot going on. Being out, staying out was a challenge. Hung out in Seattle on Monday, went over to the Boeing Museum of Flight, got to be on the Concorde, got to be on Air Force One, all kinds of stuff. Talked about it a little bit on the Ignition Show. Next week and in the coming weeks, we'll be back. Check out the social media feeds if you want to see all that stuff. Not everybody wants to see that stuff. That's what social media feeds are for. Me in a rooftop bar, me on the Concorde, me, hanging out. Jason Logan has been around. Everybody's around. We're meeting up with racers. It's a really cool experience, guys. Staying out between any two races, something I rarely do, but I have a couple of times, but not everybody also does it. So, and all these different stops along the way, there's a racer, here's a racer, here's a race team, here's a sponsor. It's a really cool vibe staying out between Seattle and Sonoma. And we'll highlight all of that stuff again, hit the social media feeds, and we'll do it. I do want to shout out to the people who make it possible for me to go WFO each week. And it has been pretty amazing how they have been with me and support the show. And it's all because of you. It's all because of you. The next time you need piston rings, or if you're an engine builder and you've been doing it the same way for your whole career and it's worked very well, it's fine, right? All it does is seal up the cylinders. There's no power there. That's incorrect now. And they have proven why. So go to totalseal.com, reach out to Keith Jones or Lake Speed and find out exactly why. You can listen to the Hidden Horsepower podcast. But most importantly, it's about surface finishes. It's about these new, diamond-like coatings. There's so many different things going on in the world of piston rings that can be tailored to your specific rules situation. So check them out, totalseal.com. You heard a little bit about FTI performance transmissions and torque converters. I'm super excited that Paul Lee will be back this week and flexing some new sponsors and all. But Florida Transmission Incorporated, right, evolved to FTI. If you've got big power in your street car, not everybody races. Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, Pro Mod, .90, big money bracket racing. But you might be a listener who's got a very powerful street car. That's fine too. FTI makes great, reliable transmissions that are also fast. Go to FTIperformance.com to find out more information. The folks at Foggett, Gary Stinnett, Foggett. This is a preventative measure. We've gone through so much to preserve to create a great cylinder situation where we have no leak down and everything's perfect. The hone, the piston ring, everything works together. Why would you not do a little something invented by an engine builder and multi-time champion racers to protect your cylinder surface? That's what it's all about. At the end of the night, you put that racing engine back into the trailer, condensation and rust and microscopic corrosion happening nearly immediately. And you multiply that, every time you do that, that is not good. It's just not a good thing. Wouldn't it be great if there was something you could do? And there is, and it's Foggit, Foggit. They've got a great contingency program. Go check them out. Gary Stinnett, Steve Williams, doing excellent work. And if you ever have a question, you can reach out to me, Joe at WFOradio.com. Same with Bernie's.com, Bernie's Speed Shop. Go to their social media, BURNYZZ.com, BerniesUSA.com, Bernies.com. Check them out. And it's more of like buying and selling classic cars, exotic cars. If you're looking to do a frame-off restoration and you're trying to figure out who should do it, they should do it. They do a great job. It's like A+ work. They do movie props. They have so many different businesses run out of Bernie's. It's pretty amazing. Even if you want one of those electric e-bikes, they're selling those as a dealership. Amazing stuff. We were down there in Gainesville, and our minds were blown. Josh Hart and the fam down there doing excellent work at Bernie's. And then there's Phillips Connect, Phillips-Connect.com. Justin Ashley, Jim Epler. There's talk. In fact, you can check the front page of NHRA.com right now. Will the 300 mile per hour to the 8th mile bonus, will the club start this weekend? The air, the elevation, it's all possible. We've seen some really big 8th mile speeds here at Sonoma, but none to 300 just yet. Plus, we've got 4 qualifying sessions this weekend, guys. 4 qualifying sessions, so it's going to be great. But in the end, it's about smart trailer technology. It's about running over the roads more safely. It's about keeping the people around your loads, trucks, tractors, trailers, safe as well. Whether you have a wheel hub heating up or your air brakes have got a leak or who knows, they have sensors for all of those things. So go to Phillips-Connect.com to find out more information. You can always reach out to me, Joe at WFOradio.com, about any of our sponsors, and we will put you together. A little bit later on in the show, we're going to tell you about Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. We'll tell you about Marvin Rodak's Coffee and Grills.com. I was up in Seattle. Everyone's like, oh, you're going to get the, Starbucks. And it's like, I'm spoiled. I've got Rodak's coffee. I've got the best coffee from around the world, roasted fresh for me, perfectly. It's always perfect. And so, I might have had some Starbucks, but all it did was reinforce my normal coffee situation, which is Marvin Rodak, 817-924-6821. Call Marvin and get in on it. Rodak's Coffee and Grills.com. And of course, Samtech, the next generation of engine builders and machinists. Go to samtech.edu. All right. So after the race, in order, like for many of you may or may not know that in addition to track announcing, the pre-race show, this entire Western Swing, I've worked on NHRA on Fox, which has been tremendous. Working on NHRA on Fox, I've got a lot of positive feedback from everybody. Thank you for that. But putting a lot into it. I want to be perfect. And, sometimes trying too hard is a problem too, but I will be on the show again this weekend. So they keep inviting me back. That's the ultimate judge of how things work. But in addition to that, I also host the interviews at the conclusion of the race in the media center with members of our media staff, which is awesome because I've been on the other side of it. And I kind of host that. And then after it was over, ran outside, caught up with each of our drivers, knowing that we would not have tons of time in between. Like obviously the travel schedule and the desire to do a bunch of fun stuff. Did I say that? Yeah, I said that. All right. So first up, let's talk with Tim Wilkerson. Big win over J.R. Todd. We'll talk funny car on the backside, but let's check out Wilk's second race win of the season. Tim Wilkerson.
Tim Wilkerson, funny car winner. Tim, that's 2 on the season, a multi-win season. That's pretty good. This is going in the right direction.
Well, I think that, all the hard work, sometimes it pays off. We had a dismal last couple 3 races, and John Force beat us by 4 thou at Bristol, and that really should have been something we had done a little better at. So we're all digging deep and trying to do a good job, and my guys are terrific as usual, and I'm usually the weak link in this group, but today we all worked good together.
Final round against J.R. Todd. There's a lot of emotion over there. They're trying to break through. You're trying to break through, and it was just a great final.
Well, they got a great car and a great group of kids, right? There's no doubt about that. And there's probably not too many drivers that are better than JR, even, driving period or on the tree. So, I mean, I apologize, JR. I didn't want to John Force you and drag that thing in deep there, but it ended up because it was just rolling, and I was waiting for the damn light to come on, and it came on. I got lucky, but hey, we're excited to be able to get by them. They're a great group too, but it was a day for the Skag Ford, that's for sure.
Hot, not as hot as last year, but still really hot. When it comes to championship time, though, it's not going to be like this.
No, we've already talked about that. I actually have a whole group of clutch discs set aside for the countdown, and I'm hoping that I'm not making the wrong move. But these are some real soggy clutch discs that I'm running right now, believe it or not, but they work well in these conditions. So we'll see if, knock on wood, that it turns out to be like I think it is, and if it does, then we'll have something for them even when it's 75 or 80 degree track and glued from stem to stern.
Final question, 4th win here. What is it about Pacific Raceways in the Great Northwest?
Yeah, I love this place. I just do, and I'm pretty good with the air here. There's something called the Humboldt Current that runs down from Canada and makes this air, for lack of better terms, real strange. So I do some stuff here that I don't do anywhere else, and man, the car loves it. So pretty happy with that.
Congratulations on your win, Tim.
Thanks, guys.
See you in a week.
Appreciate it. Love you all.
There he goes. Tim Wilkerson, the Humboldt Current. I was unaware of that. Is the cat out of the bag, Tim Wilkerson. Let's have a look at the funny car ladder and just talk about some runs that I thought were pretty significant and some things behind the scenes that were kind of interesting. Force gets bounced second round. Chad Green going on to the semis where he loses to J.R. Todd. J.R. Todd and Coletta Motorsports had another great day, but not the kind of great that they're looking for. And I had a good conversation with Chad Head, and he's awesome when he just summarizes things. And he's like, things are better, we're running better, everything's better, but the only thing that counts are trophies. That's it. We need the trophy. And I think he said we need the effing trophy. And they got Doug into the final, and they got JR into the final. So they are definitely moving forward with these things. They didn't get the trophy, though. And so Coletta Motorsports is still feeling a little frustration that they have yet to break through. JR got through Alex Laughlin, got through Cruz, got through Chad, got to go up against Wilk. Wilk on the bottom side of the ladder got past Matt Hagan. Neither one of them was stellar with reaction time first round. Just want to let you all know that I'm reading the ladder off NHRA.com, which is always like, second round, Ron Capps fell victim to Wilk. Those two slug it out all the time. Blake Alexander. How about Blake getting through Tasca, getting a bye run, and getting to the semis, where Blake was off the starting line first and a air pressure fitting. And he showed me the bottle. It's the bottle, and there's a fitting, and the fitting is, let's call it, like cast aluminum, maybe something like that. I don't know what it is. It broke. It was a very fast engagement, but it just cracked. And so the $10 part took Blake out. Blake ran 406 at 295. Wilk went 400 at 321. So Blake was in the lead. And so that's great news for Jim Head, for Blake Alexander. We've been saying for years that Blake is The better Blake does, the better the class will be, the better the sport will be. There's people like Blake. Blake's interesting, and if he gets to the point where he can start like feeling confident, what's his personality like? His personality is always like, we're trying to keep our sponsors happy, and we're trying to keep going, and I hope we go down the racetrack. The more he goes down the racetrack, the more Blake we're going to get to see. So it is very interesting the way it all works out there. Point standings. What are the point standings, Joe, in the funny car category as I navigate without a mouse? And it's very challenging. Matt Hagan continues to lead. Ron Capps, 17 back. Alexis DeJoria, 120 back. So we really got two up there in the lead. Robert Height, 129 back. Chad Green, 130 back. So it is a log jam for third through fifth, which is cool. Tim Wilkerson, even with the win, tied for sixth and seventh with Bob Tasca, 172 back. John Force, 227 back. J.R. Todd, 254 back. And Cruz Pedregon, 324 back. On the outside looking in of the top 10, and they need to make up this ground if they're going to make the countdown, if they were to run the countdown. I don't know what their schedule is, but Blake Alexander's 385 out of the lead. He's, call him 60 some odd out of 10th. And then Alex Laughlin, 428. And those are the racers that are, it's looking like we're going to have 11 racers because Alex is going to every race. Blake can make it, though. That's the thing. They are trying. This points and a half at Indy. They are trying to fight their way legitimately into the top 10. And there has been a lot of discussion about that top 10 rule. Is it time to revisit the everybody that makes an attempt at every race gets to be in the countdown? Look at the stories we would be having, not so much in Funny Car because we've got one with Blake because he hasn't been to all the races. And, has that outlived its usefulness? I think that's a worthy conversation to have. And I've asked a lot of people, sponsors. We'll see. All right, the Alex Laughlin, J.R. Todd beef. Here's my take. Hot take. I know that you guys would love to be interacting on this one, and we'll do it in the future. I think it goes a couple of different ways. You got Alex Laughlin, who is very social media savvy. You see he's doing these skits and videos, and he's keeping his engagement high. And Alex has won the U.S. Nationals in Pro Stock. He's won a whole bunch of different stuff. He's a racer. He's a real racer. He's a legit racer, but he's going at it a little bit differently. And then you got J.R. Todd, who is a world champion, who is not any of those things, like outgoing, social media intent, creating skits on social. That's not his jam. Alex put out a comment on social, for those that don't know the exact detail, referencing JR's car as the yellow FedEx whatever. Was that on purpose? Was it an accident? Alex says that it was an oversight, that he doesn't really pay attention. Do you believe it? I don't know. I don't believe that. Like you're typing. Maybe if you said it, but typing. But in the end, that's not for me to decide who's right about what they wrote. Alex brought it up. I tend to think you don't talk about people's mamas and you don't talk about their sponsors. To me, that's where there is a little bit of a line. But I have learned in the past that where my line is not where other people's line is. Other people want that intensity. So JR took exception. JR said something on the in-venue broadcast, and then it caught fire, and it's gone everywhere. And now both drivers are under the microscope. Is that, is it bad? It's not bad. I don't think it's bad. We got something to talk about and something to look forward to. Now, I wouldn't have said what Alex Laughlin said. I wouldn't have done that. That's not my deal. Even if I was and I talked to JR about it, like, what's your take? And he's like, talk about me. If you want to say something about me, say something about me. Which I tend to agree. So it flared back up in Alex's deal. Alex got called a clown. He's bought a clown mask. We're going to see where it goes this year. But it's getting to that time of year. It would be better. Like, I want to see JR is clearly running way better. That car is running way better. They're in the mix. Can Alex Laughlin step up? Can there be a rivalry there? You know, Jim and John Dunn, that car, they said this car was going to run better this year. I think he's got like 3 or 4 round wins, but it has run better. But now your driver's in a feud. Like, wow, that could be interesting what happens. So is that a bad thing or is it a good thing? It's clearly a good thing. Clearly a good thing. You guys want to talk about JR and Alex wants to keep going and JR is going to keep going. Like, who knows what they're going to do? But another little storyline. Interesting storyline, I think. So there you go. I know people probably wanted to know. I've gotten a lot of social media traffic about you should have talked about this on your show. And there you go. Going into the weekend, look at Wilkerson. Low ET, best reaction, top speed of race day. Tim Wilkerson gets it done. And, you know, everybody loves Wilk. Honestly speaking, though, I do want to see the Coletta Motorsports team bust out like the way Steve Torrence did. We'll talk Top Fuel after we hear from Steve Torrence. And this is a little Steve Torrenceism right here. Okay. All the people, Steve Torrence still has a lot of what we'll call haters. And there were some haters at Pacific Raceway for Steve. He would come by and they would shower him with vile hatred. Vile hatred. What does Steve do with that situation? How does Steve Torrence handle vile hatred? Let's find out.
All right, we're here with Top Fuel winner Steve Torrence, who is with some fans. But Steve, there's something interesting about these fans. What was going on here with these gentlemen?
This is the Boo Crew from Seattle, and I don't know if they're fans yet, but we're on the way to making amends, and maybe they'll just dislike somebody else after this race.
So they didn't like you, and they booed you each time you went by?
They did, and it was motivation, and I think as the day went on, it got a little better because it was like a rivalry to see who could aggravate each other the most. They won, but we won the race, so it kind of was a wash.
200th win for Toyota, huge milestone.
Huge milestone. We hadn't been nearly as dominant since we joined Toyota, and we're trying to turn that around. And to get the 200th win for the Toyota team, Capco Contractors, Redline Oil, and Mack, I mean, that's a big deal. Mack Tools was in the final, and either way, so they were going to come out on top. And it was a great weekend, a good get healthy weekend, get your mind right, get your foot out or your thumb out of your butt and go drive the race car and do a good job.
Guys, what other sport can you pick an athlete, boo the crap out of them, and then hang out with them in the winner's circle?
Well, I couldn't make them mad either because there's some great old big boys, and I don't know if I can run. I don't know if I can run faster scared than they can mad, but I dang sure would try.
There you go.
He's got a lot more of his crew than he does.
You're gonna change your opinion now?
Absolutely.
No, we'll be back next year.
He says no.
Somebody new.
They'll still be booing, but I'm gonna go hang out with them later.
There you go. Right. Steve, congratulations.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
There we go. And we got Jason, the track owner.
Hey, Steve. Congratulations, man. And I would be proud to have your hat in my case.
Wow, look at this huge moment, Pacific Raceways. Top Fuel winner, Steve Torrence.
And so Steve Torrence makes friends with the people who are booing him. Come on. To me, that's awesome. Like, I don't know what the olive branch was, like, hey, come down, or let's go boo him to his face. But that's NHRA drag racing. That's NHRA drag racing right there. Like, why? And thank goodness so many fans leave after it's over. They watch the cars go, the wind light comes on, and then they leave. Thank goodness. Because moments like that, if 500 people showed up, if 1,000 people showed up to that, then we couldn't have those amazing little moments. But those guys are like buddies with Steve Torrence now. And they explained to me that they picked somebody to hate. And I think it used to be Hagen. And then they we kind of like Hagen. They're picking a new person to hate each time. And then that person wins them over. That's drag racing. It's hard to hate. Like, when you get to know someone, you spend a little time talking to them. Like, what kind of person are you that you're going to like maintain a hatred? But who was it that said that? Like, somebody, we needed someplace for our anger, I believe is what they said. And so, I don't know, I found it to be very funny. and very interesting. Mike Salinas was the number one qualifier, got to the second round where he came up short to Sean Langdon. Langdon, all three Coletta Motorsports cars go to the semifinals. Like there's a story there. Like Chad Head says, without trophies, it doesn't mean anything, but they're announcing their intentions. Now, I wouldn't say they've got it all figured out either, but they're trying to get there. This is the desperation move. They're trying to get it figured out by those last 6 races. Torrence takes down Langdon. Great race. Torrence is 64, Langdon 66, 401, 407. Was it a power on race? Not necessarily. Torrence gets through Josh Hart, gets through Brittany Force, gets through Sean Langdon to run Doug Coletta in the final round. That's pretty good day at the office. Doug Coletta runs. Ron Smith gets a bye run, goes to the semis where he runs Clay. Clay's took off on nothing. I haven't spoken with Clay about it yet, and I know I will, but just frustrating for Clay. To be fair, though, well, I don't really know whether Clay would have been able. He went 394 at 251. Like, what would the run have been had he not took off like huge red? We have no idea. So Clay got through Leah, got through Justin Ashley, and Clay break that streak of they had been either out first round or to the final round. Now Clay defeats Justin. Justin loses in the second round, first time all season. That's pretty much insanity. Final round, you got Doug Coletta and Steve Torrence, both with 1 reaction times. Nobody was stellar, but that's the luck of the draw. Steve gets down the racetrack, 394 mostly at 289, and Doug with a 486 up in smoke. Alan Johnson seemed kind of disgusted, but there was a bit of a clash. While I was over there talking to J.R. Todd for NHRA on Fox, I kind of hovered over into the Mac Tools pit and talked to Doug, and Doug's like, we just had a crazy thrash. And they went to warm up the car after servicing the car, and the engine wouldn't turn over, or it turned over until it didn't, was the exact quote. And so with just a few minutes remaining, they had to replace the engine and put everything in and haul it up there. And so they were thrown out of their rhythm, and it was a very difficult situation, bit of a thrash deal. Back-to-back finals for Doug Coletta. How do you want to look at it? How do you want to look at it? Like they came up short, they had a problem, or Doug Coletta, back-to-back finals. They're getting the reps, they're getting the laps, they're getting more shots at the track. Alan Johnson, Brian Hughes, and these guys, they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out. They're getting there. But they want the trophy. And right now, it's like nothing else matters other than the trophy. They're rabid. They're one-minded. And so point standings and top fuel. Do you like these one-person shows, guys? It's very close at the top. Steve Torrence leads by 4 over Justin Ashley. Leah, third, 136 back. Very similar, a two-horse breakaway, really, with over 100 points. 136 back, Leah, 137 back, Brittany, 167 back, Austin, Doug, 184 back, but climbing on up. It wasn't that long. Doug was outside of the top 10. Antron Brown, 197, Mike Salinas, 199, Josh Hart, 250, Clay Milliken, 253. That's right, Clay, with his 2 wins and a semifinal, is still just in the top 10 points. Sean Langdon, 277 out in 11th. Tony Schumacher, 368 out in 12th. And they're all in. And this is back to what I said. Is this no longer useful? Tony Schumacher and Skag, look, they're building a team this year. They've got new everything, new crew chief, new everything, new combinations. Mike Neff is establishing setups. He's doing his thing. The race to get into the top 10. Wow, that would be amazing. If there was a consequence, Sean Langdon, Tony Schumacher missing out on the countdown. Oh my gosh, on the wayside. Do we like that more than we like Tony Schumacher and Sean Langdon going to run for the championship? Because, Sean Langdon and Tony Schumacher, but Langdon looks like he's performing a little bit better. He could go on and win the championship. Like Langdon with Coletta Motorsports, they hit on something. They figured it out. Super talented drivers, both of them. We saw what Austin Prock did last year. I think we need to get to the bottom of that. And maybe behind the scenes, the sponsors are telling the powers that be something different than they're saying publicly. That happens all the time. They're saying something different. Like people who are like, I don't know. I don't even want to make an analogy, but we call it the participation trophy. It's a participation trophy. And like you got a little league kid in Little League, and you're violently against the participation trophy, but when your kid doesn't get it, you're upset. Well, I'm sure, yeah, if they're going to give him one, I'm not going to smash it, right? Like your kid goes out there, he's tried hard, he hasn't won, he's not the best player, and they want to give him a participation trophy. What do you do with that trophy? Do you smash it? Do you tell your coach, please do not give little Mikey his participation trophy because he hasn't earned it, because he's not good enough? Like, what do you do with that situation? I don't know. And the answer is, in my opinion, despite what you tell me, most of you parents would accept the participation trophy and put it on a nice little shelf for little Mikey who didn't earn it and be happy with it. And I personally think that, I don't know, maybe behind the scenes, these sponsors, everybody can say, we got to make it harsh and we got to cut out one of our big sponsors from the championship, but they probably like it. They probably like it. And that's why it keeps going. So let's think about it and come to a real conclusion, especially knowing we don't have the power to change anything anyway, except for the court of public opinion. All right, next up, Pro Stock Motorcycle. Pro Stock Motorcycle at Pacific Raceways for the very first time. This was awesome. It was great. First of all, the fans love them. I miss Pro Stock, don't get me wrong. But this was the first time the fans got to see these bikes, and everybody was running their own different, like, figured out kind of program. Like, what are we going to do to figure this place out? And of course, Gaige Herrera goes out there and wins it. Plus, this weekend at the Denso Sonoma Nationals, he's got the first pick in the Pro Stock Motorcycle All-Star call-out. Does he tell us, like, who he's going to call out? Like, that's happening Friday, tomorrow, after qualifying, after the first session of qualifying, or two sessions, actually. Let's see what Gaige Herrera had to say after his fifth win of the season. Gaige Herrera.
All right, here we are. The only Pro Stock Motorcycle racer with a shot at the very historic first ever sweep of the Western Swing. What a, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's very cool. You know, just it's Sonoma. So, I'm very excited. You know, we're off to a great start between Denver and Seattle here, and it's a full. Seattle was a full Van Science final, so can't ask for anything better. We qualified 1 and 2, and we both made it to the finals. So I'm excited for Sonoma.
Okay, a couple of questions here. Like, what would you tell yourself if you could go back to 3 days ago about this track? Like, what did we learn about Pacific Raceways and Pro Stock Motorcycles? You had the quickest ever 60-foot time here, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the surface was awesome. You know, this brings me back to my childhood. It's a mom and pop track. You know, I actually loved racing here. You know, I hope we come back. But overall, this was a really good weekend. You know, like I said, this is an awesome facility. I hope we come back. So,
okay, same question, but a bigger picture in that. Yeah. All right, now the race wins have stacked up, and it's almost like, I don't want to put an idea in your head, but this is what I would be thinking, like, oh my gosh, man, I got to win the championship. I'm having such an unbelievable year. And with that can come some pressure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like a lot of people say, I mean, Matt, Eddie, all of them say, you know, they'd rather not do good at the beginning of the season and be good at the end of the season, obviously with the countdown and everything. So I just hope to keep it going. You know, the overall, I feel I'm with one of the best teams out here, so I don't see us, you know, really laying off anything at all. You know, as far as we got 2 more races until the countdown, and then it's really heads down, and we got to get after it. So
but overall, I'm happy with what's going on.
Well, you should be. How are you going to celebrate this one? What are you guys going to do?
I got quite a few friends and family from here in the Seattle area, so we're going to obviously pack up. That's the worst part about drag racing, or racing in general, is packing up, and then we're going to go out to dinner and celebrate. So,
there you go.
All in all, I'm very happy.
Way to go, Gaige. We'll see you in a couple of days. You got that call out?
Yep.
Aren't you first in the call out?
Yep, I'm very excited about that. I already got my my person I picked out, so
oh, really?
It's going to be a good one.
I don't want, listen, everybody is, who is it? We cannot say. I will be in trouble with NHRA if I revealed it on the show. But we can tease it. Let me ask you this, like without revealing it, the motivation for why? Is it revenge? Is it personal? Do you want to humiliate somebody? Like, like how, why? Tough. It's tough to choose. Everybody has said that.
No, it's just one of those things.
Woo!
We'll see what happens.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Oh, there it is, Gaige Herrera. And you're wondering, what did he say right there? What did he say? And I thought, look, I hear a lot of stuff, and I want to share as much of it as I can. But in that moment, I felt like he basically told everybody exactly who he was picking. So I cut the volume down. So you will all want to watch. But Gaige has got his first round opponent already picked out. Unless, of course, he was just baiting me and giving me incorrect information as like a misdirection, which is very possible too. There could be a misdirection going on. But we'll just have to wait and see. But he's got his call-out victim all picked out. Yesterday, from here, we did a press conference where all the other call-out racers, Hector and Angie and Eddie and Matt and Mark Ingerson and Chase Van Zandt, I think that's everybody, Steve Johnson, they all got into it on Zoom. And it was very fun and funny and gross at moments. Steve put his foot up to the camera, pedicure comment. But this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag because I feel like, he didn't say what he said. If you've got half a ability to read between lines and think about things, I just want to make it a little tougher on you guys. Gaige got to the final. In spectacular fashion, obviously taking down Lance Bonham in the first round, Byron second round, went up against Hector. Hector's 29, goes 85. That was a close race. But Hector, he needed to be 0-0 against Gaige. That's the thing that you got to be. And in the final round, Gaige is going up against Eddie. Gaige is 25 and outruns Eddie. Eddie's 61. Like, Eddie can't be 61, and Eddie will be the first one to tell you that. Eddie says somebody's going to get waxed in this call-out. Because there was a lot of... Because Matt Smith was in a spa, and he was in a robe. And he's wearing his robe while in a spa. And so it kind of took a very spa-themed... I don't know where I'm going with any of this. But Matt and Angie ran second round. Matt got to the semis. Bike wouldn't start. Eddie gets through. It was Cam Sensor. And then it was Eddie and Gaige wins. As far as point standings go, Gaige Herrera is the leader by 10,556 over Hector. No, I'm kidding. It's only 266, but still, it's a lot. A lot. If you took Gaige out, we got a pretty good little points race going on here. Hector Arana, 266 back. Eddie, 313 back. Matt Smith, 347 back. Angie, also 347 back. They are tied. Angie was very funny. They were all very funny. Like, I love the Pro Stock Motorcycle Racers. And then poor Chase Van Zandt is like, I'm just handling this like a pro. Chase 408 back. Gianna 490 back. Mark Ingerson 506 back. Didn't even know he was in the call-out, but he did get in the call-out. And Kelly Klontz 534. As you all know, same rules apply. And there it is. Pro Stock Motorcycle. Other winners on the weekend. Just some final comments on the rest of the race weekend at the Flav-R-Pac Northwest Nationals. One, we need to be going there. It is a classic and amazing, fun track. It was not as hot as last year. The local community, the mayors of Kent, of Auburn Way or Auburn and Federal Way, like we had mayors out there, and they are heavily invested in the track. I've got ideas, and I see nothing but potential in that racetrack. What I would like to see, and everybody knows I'm a traditionalist and I like traditional things, but, and who am I? to say anything about anything, but I spoke with a lot of racing fans there, a lot of racing fans. And I really believe that the next wave of improvements should be focused around some premium seating. Premium seating. I always say it. I get into a fight with drag racing fans out there all the time, especially on this show. They're like, oh, things need to be cheaper. And I'm like, no, they don't. They need to be more expensive. You need to get a nice seat with chair, with a cup holder and armrests, maybe even a little padding, a little covering, something like that. Like that's where the sport has to go, not downward in a spiral down to $5 tickets. That's not where we're at. Okay. I would love to see them do something. If this track is going to be a part of the tour for the future, you're up here in the home of technology. I went to the Boeing Museum of Flight. You see all this technology that's up here, Boeing, aerospace, all of that stuff. I would love to see them somehow partner with the local communities to build something futuristic and modern. And maybe it doesn't have to be huge, but a building, make something that lets you know that this track is part of this community for the next 30 years. You could do testing out there. You could do a lot of stuff. Right now, the fans sit in bleachers, just like a metal or wood bleacher. And that's tough for an older person like myself to sit in a bleacher without a chair back for several hours. It's hard. And to deny that, you can't deny that it's hard on people. So I think that, Pacific Raceways it's awesome already, but we could keep on going. Remainder of the winners, Jackie Frick won Top Alcohol Dragster back-to-back. Way to go, Jackie. Doug Gordon, again, all information coming from NHRA.com. Doug Gordon in Top Alcohol Funny Car. Joe Aerosmith, what a great story. Let me see if I can find this. Joe Aerosmith, every once in a while I go and delete the photographs, and so I think I might have deleted the photo with Joe's car on here. But Joe Aerosmith, competition eliminator racer, has been running, here we go, a WFO sticker on his car since he and I hung out at the World Door Slammer Nationals at Orlando Speed World. He listens to the show. He checks out the show. He revealed to me in 2019 that he and his dad had a bucket list item to go to Pacific Raceways and race their car. That's it. Well, it might have been 2020. I think it was 2020, actually, pandemic that we were hanging out. Might have been 2019. Bottom line is, so many things happened that they couldn't do it. And it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And this year, 2023, they made it and they won it. They won the frickin' race. Way to go, Joe. Amazing stuff. Joe Aerosmith and his dad getting the job done in Comp Eliminator. Don Thomas won Super Stock. Justin Lamb won Stock Eliminator. Garrett Sides in Super Comp. Paul Nero in Super Gas. Brian McGinnis in Super Street. Mike Ferderer. Huge victory for Mike Ferderer. This guy, you might not know him. He's been around for a long time. Someone said he won his first race in 1976, something like that. And he retired and then came back. And to get this win in his home area, he's from Buckley. Amazing victory. Tom Bayer wins again, top dragster. And Ty Gaynor won the junior dragster shootout. And those are your results. Couple of things, just been informed. WFO merch is on sale, guys. That's right. You want a $16 t-shirt. You want the Fire t-shirt. You want the Miami Hollywood Speedway t-shirt. You want to look like my buddy Eddie right here, wide open. You want to get a hoodie. Winter's coming, guys. Discounted hoodies. It's all discounted right now. Go to the store. You can get there in the mobile application. You go onto the mobile app, menu, merch, and you're buying right from there. And you're getting the discount. It's all discounted. $16 t-shirts. Come on, that's cheap. And they're pretty cool. I mean, I'm making sure, and more people are wearing them. The Fire shirt, very popular. Everyone loving it, and hopefully you can too, especially now while it is on sale. And everything is on sale. Mugs are on sale. Get your Christmas gifts. Do them now while they're on sale. That's what I've been trying to do. Get all kinds of discounted stuff for people while they are on sale. I want to tell you about Sam Tech, School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. If you're a veteran, they're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. If you want to work on a team, if you want to start a machine shop, if If you want to program CNC machines at Boeing, Samtech not only teaches you the core information, but can get you placed with one of those people. That is amazing. So many people up here in Seattle, we're not there anymore, but work for Boeing or work in the aerospace industry, and it's amazing. We went to the museum. Next time, we want to go to the factory, and went into downtown Seattle, had a wonderful time. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, you can drive a dragster. They just had their big final hurrah at Vandermeer Speedway this past weekend. And Frank Hawley, you can drive a dragster with education from one of the greats or his instructors. Amazing stuff. And then there's Marvin Rodak, Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com. We really appreciate you. And then, of course, you can become a WFO patron. That's right, the patrons. Are they getting behind-the-scenes content this whole week that I'm gone that you guys aren't getting? No, they're not. No, they're not. They haven't got nothing. Sorry, patrons. Don't worry. They were all there on the Ignition show. Michael Heiner has got his Pro Stock show. We're going to get that thing going again. We're going to get it all going. But you're a member of a community when you're a WFO Patreon. So we ask you to go to patreon.com/WFO Radio and see if you want to join. And maybe you don't. Total Seal, FTI, Foggett, Bernie's, and Phillips Connect. These are our prime tier 1 sponsors on WFO Radio, and we appreciate them. The next time you need one of them, you need something, think about them, and they'll be there for you. All right, guys, that is going to do it. I'm going to try to play a little music and get on out of here. Head up to the Vineyards. Ron Capps has got a big thing going on today at the Vineyards, where he's going to be doing a wine tasting deal. Not only Ron Capps, but a Three Guys winery. I'm going to try to get into Caymus. It's what I've been recommended from people. Final thoughts, though. Final thoughts. Pacific Raceways is awesome, and Seattle was awesome. I had so many people, and I'm not trying to get political here at all. What I am trying to say is don't believe everything you hear, and also do not shortchange yourself a life experience. Now, I take no responsibility for what happens to you when you do whatever you do. But I will tell you this. I had a lot of people tell me, don't bother going into downtown Seattle. Don't go. Don't go there. Don't go. Oh, no. Okay. We went and we walked around after dark and we had a fantastic experience. It's going into a city. Going into a city is always the same. You got a lot of people. And so every once in a while, one of those people is going to be a bad person. But they taught so many people, don't bother, don't bother, don't go, don't bother. Well, if I don't bother, who's going to keep all those businesses going? If I don't bother, how are they all going to survive? What's going to happen to our nation's cities? I'm sorry, but our nation's cities are very important to our nation. You care about America? You should care about the cities. To cast off the cities as not worth going into, I don't know. I think that's bad. And so went into Seattle, went to a fantastic rooftop bar, walked around, found a Irish dive bar, had a couple of beers, spent a little money, no questions, no issues. Did I see a homeless person? Did I see one? Yes. Did I see 4? Yeah. Did I see 10? No. Now, people have told me, well, you didn't go to the right place. Well, okay, fine. But I'm not doing homeless encampment tourism here. Okay? It's a terrible situation, but definitely not enough to keep me from going into a city and enjoying myself. Same is true with San Francisco. So many people discouraging my participation with San Francisco. Don't go. Don't even go in there. Oh, it's terrible. People, oh, it's horrible. They're everywhere you look, there's someone doing something. And I, you know what they're saying. I don't want to pollute the show with that. Different things in the streets. So went into San Francisco, spent the entire day in San Francisco and part of the night in San Francisco, running around with one of the locals, bringing me to all the local spots. Cool spots, classic spots, top of the mark, rooftop restaurant, tiki bars, everything that we could possibly do. Cable car museum, everywhere, all over, as much as we could. Saw next to nothing negative at all, next to nothing. People in a park. Yeah, I saw 4 tents. We did go down one street where some people had set up tents and they were living there. Okay. I've seen that happens. It's not optimal. It's not good. It shouldn't be encouraged. It should be, they're working on trying to figure out how to get rid of it. But I saw 4 in one location. They had clustered together. Who knows what their situation is? But generally speaking, not only did I feel super safe, I had a great time in San Francisco. We were all over the place. It's so beautiful. They're up, you're down, fog. It's just amazing, amazing. Check out my social media if you want to see, like riding the trolley car and how they work and all of those. But again, so many people told me that I was risking my life, like risking my life. Don't go there. Don't do it, Joe. And they were totally wrong. And that got me thinking of one more thing. I have been fortunate enough, just through my own travel and travel for work, to be in the downtown city metro area of San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago, New York, and Boston this year. Plus Bristol, Tennessee. The city, okay? The metropolis, Gotham. Been there. And every one of them, I felt safe, had a great time, beautiful structures, architecture, infrastructure, public transportation, rode public transportation on pretty much all of them, and had a great time. Why am I telling you this? Well, it's my job to tell you what I know, to report on situations, and it's not all drag racing. So you might have a different experience. Who knows what will happen to you when you go? But when I went, I loved it and will go back. And that's it. Thank you very much for this edition of WFO Radio. Remember, please subscribe, Apple Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, follow our feed. If you're watching on YouTube, click the bell, never miss a show, share with your friends. Remember our mobile app. The WFO mobile app is like such a great way to check out the show. Look at that. And then you want to get something, you just go over to more, and then you go to merch, and then it's just going to kick you right over to our WFO store, where things are on sale, 35% off site-wide. How about that? Big thanks to everyone who helped me, like Jason Logan helping me with my Mac PC conversion. This wasn't terrible. I'm using these earbuds, right? Like, how does it sound? Does it sound okay? Who knows? All right, guys. Appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. And we're going to head to Sonoma Raceway for the Denso Sonoma Nationals. Race 3 of the Western Swing. See ya. WFO.